Welcome back. Today is lesson 4 in our series here. The topic of today's talk is removing the fog, or remove the fog of in your life. What that refers to is the distractions or the busyness in our head, maybe that would be a way to call it. In other words, as humans living our lives, we've been trained, taught, the examples have been set, is that the busy person is the successful person. The person who's always multitasking and grabbing at things more is the successful person. This work talks more or focuses more on the person that is comfortable in their own skin, being themselves, not having to be distracted all the time by thoughts or by the environment. Someone who is able to be still. And that's what we want to learn to do. It's not that we need to be in a cave and meditate all day or any of that, but we want to say, I value my self-energy, my own self-energy, and I want to take advantage of what I can do in this moment to remove the fog. And that's what I call it. Obviously, name it something that brings you joy. You want to have the intention, set that intention, is that I want to connect with my higher self, my soul self, with the gods, whatever brings you the joy, the connection feeling. I want to connect more readily, more easily. And by connection, my head is more clear. I feel a lightness in my heart. I have more peaceful thoughts, and I have a sense of aliveness about me that I like. I like it a lot. So what we want to do with this work is tease our personality self with moments of clarity. So to do that, you want to take a deep breath. The breath is a gateway to all that is. It isn't the only way, but it is one way. There are so many different methods out there, even on YouTube, that help you connect with the peace, the joy that you already have inside of you. But this is what we'll do for today. You take a deep breath, and you want to, what I do is I see a fog just leaving me. I see a clarity. The fog is lifting. You can take a deep breath. Just be still when you're doing it. I mean, you don't want to be jogging. When you get better at this, by all means, exercise is a great way to connect with your higher self. But in the beginning, if you're a beginner, be still and take a breath. And release it. Imagine that everything is just falling away from you. You can do this with your eyes open or your eyes closed. You can do this listening to music, yoga, walking in the woods, sitting in a room by yourself, sitting in your office with a billion people around you. Obviously, in that situation, you wouldn't want to close your eyes. You just take a deep breath and just visualize, imagine. Imagination is very powerful. It is energy. Anyway, you want to imagine that you're sitting in this busy room and you take a deep breath. And when you let it out, everything that's stressful, anything that is chaotic is just leaving your energy. You're not trying to affect anyone else. All you're doing is removing the fog of stress and of chaos and of those thoughts that you've got going on. Once you have taken that deep breath and visualized something leaving you, sit with it for just a moment. And I'm not speaking of this is an hour-long activity. This is just a few moments. Just sit with it. Feel it. You can have your eyes open, like I said, in that meeting, and just look at you in that energy state, and you can compare it to the energy of those around you. If you're alone in the woods, walking, or maybe on the beach, or maybe walking on the street, feel you, find you, independent of anything going on around you. Now, obviously, this does take a bit of time to find, because our habit, remember habits, our habit is to be busy and not let the mind be still. But for this exercise, what we're trying to do is say, I value my energy. I don't even know who I am. I have been busy for 50 years or whatever. I want to connect with me. And again, what we're going to do is take a deep breath, let it out slowly, and maybe take a couple of breaths. It's totally up to how much time you have to invest in this. When you do this and you feel something, that's what we want to repeat periodically, because we want to tease your personality self into being curious about this state. That's the magic. Because we want the personality self to say, I want to sit down and take a deep breath. Wouldn't that be nice if you didn't have to force yourself, oh, it's 6 o'clock and I said I was going to take a deep breath at 6 o'clock. Wouldn't it be nice if all of a sudden 6 o'clock rolls around and you automatically just went to your space or had that thought that brings you joy? So we want to embrace our personality self habits and have them be eventually the leader in bringing us to that state of clarity, the state of feeling the joy and the peace around you at any moment, despite your environment. See, that's one of the big parts of this, is that it's easier to connect when you are in the woods by yourself. There's nothing around you to distract you. When you're at work, when you are with your children, your family, that's a different story. So let's say you're cooking dinner and you're stressed because everybody wants something different, and you're trying to focus on what you want to make, and so you realize, oh, I am so stressed. I don't like this. You made that decision. Your personality self helped you find, I don't like this stress that I'm in right now. Take a deep breath and let it go. That is the first step in this, and it's pretty powerful. What I've done is had some different triggers. Triggers are something that I call an activity that when I have it happen to me, or if I do it, I say, personality self, when you walk through a door, you're going to take a deep breath and connect. Or every time you sit down, no matter where you are, you just take one breath. So come up with something that works for you. You don't have to tell anybody you're doing it, because they might start watching you to judge, hey, you forgot to do it. So that's not where we want to go. You want this to be a personality self helping you find the stillness in every moment. Now, stillness doesn't have to be boring. Busyness doesn't have to be exciting either, right? I mean, that's the other end of the coin. So eventually your personality self is going to say, I want to feel that way again. That's when you know you're onto something. And again, you could, if your lifestyle is so busy that you can only do this twice a day, fine. If you only can do it in the evenings or maybe in the mornings before you get up or get going for the day, fine. If you have the time and you're able to do this, maybe lunchtime, dinner time, those times of days, try to do it more often, because what you'll find is the more often you do it, the easier it gets, it's more instantaneous, and your personality self begins to get on board with it and saying, oh, can't wait to do it again. It's new. Personality self likes new things. And so it will pull you in that direction if you can put some time into it. We have to teach our personality self. We're trainable. No matter how old you are, you're trainable. And so by doing this activity, not necessarily on a schedule, because then that locks you into perhaps creating a little bit of chaos, of stress. I didn't do my breathing today. We really want to run away from that. What we want to do is just set it up. Maybe every day is different. Maybe your schedule is different every day. And if that's the case, you could say, well, today my goal is to take a breath at these times, especially for, let's say, before walking in the house with the kids running around, or getting in the car with the kids and the husband and the partners that you have. When you know you're going to be exposed to external chaos, that's a great time to prepare yourself. And it's not like you're putting up a wall. Remember, what we did is we allowed things to leave. We allowed the old stressors to leave. Now, when you allow things to leave and you connect, it doesn't mean that makes you more vulnerable. It just means that I don't have any buildup. I'm not bringing anything to the table that's downward flowing or negative. I am just connected. I'm with my all that is. You can pretend that this fog is floating away. You want to have it so that when you think of it, when your personality self, and you go, oh, I could do that right now, that you can do it instantaneously. But to practice initially, you want to have a little bit of control on your environment. Try to do it when you're by yourself or in the shower. I love it in the shower because you're grateful for the temperature of the water, the fact that it's clean, the fact that it's available with the twist of your wrist, that you can turn it off with it, so you can go on and on with this. So pick something and play with it. Tease your personality self to like the clear flowing thoughts that you have when you're in that state. You want your personality self to say, I kind of like this peaceful mind. You can also say, I feel more relaxed. My physical body, my physical form feels a little bit more relaxed when I am in this state of awareness. When I've asked the fog to be gone. And the outcome for all of this is moment-to-moment awareness. That is when our soul self influences, our higher self influences, are more readily attainable. And that's what our goal is long term. How do I get there? How do I stay there? And that's what I asked for years after meditating. I want this state when I go to work. I want this state when I go downstairs and the family's down there. I want this state when I'm in the car driving and there's a long train and that's keeping me from going to where I want to go. And it works. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I really, really appreciate it. It helps me. It helps you. And something I found the other day was some music on YouTube. The name of the group is Fearless Soul. Every single song that I listened to was extremely powerful. So if you have the time, just type in Fearless Soul music, and you'll be surprised at how music can just focus on a part of you that brings you joy, makes you have an awareness about yourself that you just weren't there yet. music is really very powerful. So that's one thing I do. I play music all day long, in and out, when I'm doing things, especially when I'm not feeling a strong connection to my higher self, when I feel fog around me. Thank you again, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.